President Trump is absolutely right. We're on it. We have reduced already massively the gas supply from Russia, completely gotten out of Russian coal, and massively also reduced the oil supply, but there's still some coming to the European continent. And we want to put tariffs on oil supplies that are still coming to the European Union. So we are really getting, after the last bits of oil and gas coming from Russia to the European Union, we want to get rid of it.
Well, thank you very much. It's a great honor to be with a very powerful, very smart woman and a friend of mine, become a friend of mine. And she does a fantastic job running lots of different nations. And Ursula, thank you very much for being with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. And very much looking forward to our conversation. I think it will be mainly around Ukraine,
right,
the missing children, and certainly the new hybrid threats we are experiencing in Europe. So thank you very much for making the time.
Well, thank you very much, and we will have a very good conversation. Any questions, please?
How soon do you think, Madam President, how soon do you think that Europe can stop buying Russian oil and gas fluid like President Trump has asked for?
Yeah, President Trump is absolutely right. We're on it. We have reduced already massively the gas supply from Russia, completely gotten out of Russian coal, and massively also reduced the oil supply, but there's still some coming to the European continent. So what we do now, we put sanctions out to those ports where, for example, LNG is coming from Russia. And we want to put tariffs on oil supplies that are still coming to the European Union. So we are really getting, after the last bits of oil and gas coming from Russia to the European Union, we want to get rid of it.
When do you think you'll be able to do that? You previously said 2027, and you're looking at a quicker timeline.
We want to be out earlier, absolutely. So till the end of the year, we have the phasing out. We have now the sanctions on the table proposed. Member states have to agree. But we have to be faster because every payment is filling Putin's war chest. This cannot be.
Mr. President, it's nice to see you. During your speech to the General Assembly, you talked about the UN not reaching its potential. Do you see any kind of consequence if they don't step up and do what they should on a number of issues?
Well, they've never really reached, not just now, they've never reached their potential. The UN could be unbelievable with certain people running it. And no, it's never reached the potential. Look, I put out 7 wars, if you think about it, and I'm not the UN, and I wasn't helped by the UN. I was never even given a phone call. But you have a list of the wars, and these were wars that were pretty much unstoppable. These are wars that were not going to be settled. One was 31 years, one was 32 years, one was 35 years, and altogether a total of 7. 2 were starting. And I was never called by the UN. I was never like, I didn't even think about it, frankly, until after we did it. I never gave it a lot of thought. And then recently I started thinking, you know, we were never helped by the UN. And the UN has tremendous potential, tremendous potential. It's going to hopefully put out the wars themselves. I mean, someday it's going to do what I've been doing. And they should be able to do it. Thank you for that question. I appreciate it.
Sir,
Yeah.
given what you just said, what structural changes would you like to see in the UN, and what role do you think it could play in peacekeeping, for example, going forward, given what you just said?
Well, it's a fantastic role in peacekeeping. It should be great. I mean, we shouldn't have any wars if the UN's really doing its job. I know they were involved originally with Russia, Ukraine, and that didn't get done because that was the time to stop it. But no, I always say about the UN, fantastic potential, but it's all about the people, you know. You can have a wonderful concept, but if you don't have the people. The UN has never lived up to its potential. But I'm the example of it. We do all these wars, and we weren't helped by the UN. We weren't hurt by them, but we weren't helped. They didn't do anything. And they're supposed to be solving these problems. I mean, you're much closer to the city. We have an ocean in between. You're right there. And Europe has to step it up. They can't be doing what they're doing. They're buying oil and gas from Russia while they're fighting Russia. It's embarrassing to them, and it was very embarrassing to them when I found out about it, I can tell you that. They have to immediately cease all energy purchases from Russia. Otherwise, we're all wasting a lot of time. So I'm ready to discuss this. We're going to discuss it today with the European nations, all gathered here. I'm sure they're thrilled to hear me speak about it, but that's the way it is. I like to speak my mind and speak the truth. As we seek to reduce the threat of dangerous weapons today, I'm also calling on every nation to join us in ending the development of biological weapons once and for all. And biological is terrible, and nuclear is even beyond, and we include nuclear in that. We want to have a cessation of the development of nuclear weapons. We know, and I get to view it all the time. Sir, would you like to see? And I look at weapons that are so powerful that we just can't ever use them. If we ever use them, the world literally might come to an end. There would be no United Nations to be talking about. There would be no nothing. Just a few years ago, reckless experiments overseas gave us a devastating global pandemic. Yet despite that worldwide catastrophe, many countries are continuing extremely risky research into bioweapons and man-made pathogens. This is unbelievably dangerous. To prevent potential disasters, I'm announcing today that my administration will lead an international effort to enforce biological weapons convention, which is going to be meeting with the top leaders of the world by pioneering an AI verification system that everyone can trust. Hopefully the UN can play a constructive role, and it will also be one of the early projects under AI. Let's see how good it is, because a lot of people are saying it could be one of the great things ever, but it also can be dangerous, but it can be put to tremendous use and tremendous good, and this would be an example of that. Not only is the UN not solving the problems it should, too often, it's actually creating new problems for us to solve. The best example is the number one political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. It's uncontrolled. Your countries are being ruined. The United Nations is funding an assault on Western countries and their borders. In 2024, the UN budgeted $372 million in cash assistance to support an estimated 624,000 migrants journeying into the United States. Think of that. The UN is supporting people that are illegally coming into the United States, and then we have to get them out. The UN also provided food, shelter, transportation, and debit cards to illegal aliens. Can you believe that? On the way to infiltrate our southern border